Sup guys, it's your boy Justin here with a magazine review. Today we're reviewing The Savage Sword of Conan the Barbarian, The Abode of the Damned. This is issue 11 of the Conan the Barbarian magazine by Marvel Comics, edited by Roy Thomas, right? Which, I mentioned this but on my Fire and Ice review, but yeah, I picked this up a while back. And, the a way for like comic publishers to get away censorship from the comics code authority, they would publish certain series under a magazine format, so they can get away with having more gratuitous like violence and sexuality, right? Which this was printed in 1975, and it's yeah, by the way, look at that Boris Vallejo artwork right there. The cover was by Ken Barr, but I just read the page. Shit, you gotta be more careful with this stuff. Yeah, that's a Boris Vallejo cover art right there. Who Boris Vallejo did the cover for the The Dragon and the George by George R. Dixon, I think it was his name. Gordon R. Dixon, my bad, which we did a review for that book. Yeah, so yeah, this the table of contents for this book is that it contains most of this magazine is a story called The Abode of the Damned, which is based off a Conan the Barbarian story called The Country of the Knife, right? Which was originally done by Robert E. Howard, right? And there's also some articles in the book in this magazine reviewing stories and books by Robert E. Howard and Robert E. Howard related stuff, including a vinyl record that's like based off like a Conan story, right? Yeah, so this is written by Roy Thomas with art by John Buscema and Yong Montano, right? Which here you get a map of the world of Conan the Barbarian, which Conan the Barbarian is actually based off 10,000 BC, right? On what little is known about that era, right? Yeah, so the story of this book, right? Which, the main character of this book is Melanie of the Many Men, which you can guess what her profession is, right? Who is some kind of working girl who was saving up to buy a tavern when she gets a knock on her door and she sees her brother getting stabbed to death by this assassin, right? And right away you see the gore, right? Because she smashes the guy with a wine bottle, and you can see the dude lost one of his eyes, right? But yeah, she gets told she talks to her brother and finds out that he was in the Abode of the Damned, which is a city run by a city of thieves run by this gang called what were they called again? The Dark Tigers or something. I think it was Dark Tigers, right? And after hearing that, he went there to try to steal their treasure, he gets assassinated, right? She goes out and try to get vengeance on the leader of the Dark Tigers or something, only to get captured and be heading to the Abode of the Damned to be sold into slavery. And these guys are not the friendliest group. There's implied there's implied shenanigans going on, every night, right? So yeah, what ends up happening is that on their way there, they meet this stranger called what was his name? Shika of the Samora, which is obviously Conan the Barbarian in disguise, right? Who's trying to get into the Bowl of the Damned. So he joins this guy's group, and tells Melanie that he'll try to save her when he can, right? And beautiful artwork here. And also along the way, here's an article about a story that about a book that's that was put out that has some Robert E. Howard stories about a character that was inspired by Lawrence of Arabia. So it's about a Texan during I guess the World War One days that's adventuring in the Middle East, right? Going on adventures, right? And he's called El Barak, which they said means what was it? The Swift, right? Means the Swift. And his stories are published under the name of the Lost Valley of Iskandar, alright? I actually did read some of the articles here. But yeah, on the way there, they meet these three guys who want to join their caravan on the way to the city, right? And these guys look weird. They kind of look like the blue-lipped mages from Game of Thrones, right? And at first, the bandits want to rob them, right? And they try to rob these guys, and they get hypnotized into killing themselves. So I'm first, right? I'm like, okay, these guys are sorcerers, right? And Conan could tell by a glance that they were trouble, right? But yeah. So they get into the city, and Conan gets told the only way he can go inside is if he tests himself against a fighting man. And he's like, well, I found my opponent, and and sneakily kills the guard, right? And he gets saved by one of the faction leaders, right, of the city, which Conan tries to help this guy take the spot of the Amir, right? So yeah, you have some fights going on between the faction leaders. Here, they finally introduce the. Here you see some ads for Frank Rosetta artwork. There's the Death Dealer there, which is now a current comic book series, which according to Dark Side Comics sucks. They turned the Death Dealer into a soy boy. But yeah, here's the. Here's the Amir, right? The guy who had Melanie's brother killed, and you find out that he's actually some guy called Nicolas Vivon, who's some agent of some kingdom that was sent there to infiltrate the Dark Tigers to take over leadership, and then infiltrate the city and to weaken its defenses, so his king's forces can go in and take over the place, right? Because it's a strategic stronghold. But he had other plans, and he had other plans, and decided, oh, I'm gonna actually use this city to carve out an empire, right? And he tells all of this to Melanie, thinking that she was a spy. I mean, really, she just dared to get revenge, right? And he tells her that, oh, I'm gonna, when you're at the selling block, I'm gonna buy you and then kill you because I can't let you live, right? And then you get introduced to this magic gem that he has, right? which you won't believe what that magic gem turns out to be, right? Yeah, so Conan has this plot to, like, rescue Melanie, and at the same time, uh, try to, like, usurp, like, the Amir's place, right? Using this guy as, like, a figurehead, but it all goes to shit. It all goes to shit, right? Because he gets exposed as Conan the Barbarian, right? Which Conan was, like, leading this band of, like, bounty hunters, and he's, like, wanted, right? You get another articles. So yeah, it turns out the aliens. Okay, I spoiled it. Turns out the sorcerers are aliens, and they come to the city of the Abode of the Damned to collect this jewel because it's a living thing. It's basically a gas version of the blob, and it's going to eat the whole eat and kill everything on Earth, right? And these aliens are here to stop it. So they tell Conan their plans, right? And right. So, like, they go to escape, but, like, to escape the city because the egg has awoken, right? And it's gonna kill everybody. But, like, Conan the Barbarian has one last fight with Nicola of Yvonne, right? Which Nicola, like, wants to kill Conan because Conan ruined all of his plans, right? So you have this fight, and then they sealed up the city. So the aliens sealed up the city, so the monster can't go after them, and the city explodes, and the vision of the city exploding is burned into Nicola of Yvonne's eyes. So, like, the aliens, like, Conan Barbarian was going to take him to like his kingdom's outpost so he can trade him in for a bounty. But because, like, he went insane, the aliens decided to take him, right? And that's the end of the story. And there's, like, some ads here, right? I don't care. So what do I think about this book? It was like 75 pages, and I paid only $5 for it. 75 pages, almost a graphic novel, and for the price you're paying for a new comic book, this is like you can buy this basically, depending on the rarity, because, like, some of these books, it sucks. At an antique shop, I saw a bunch of these going for $3 each. They're gone, and my local comic book guy, I think he bought them all and was selling them for like $10, $20. I bought the cheapest one he had, which just was like $5. And man, I totally regret not buying all of these at the antique shop, because this was a lot of bang for your buck with this book. And plus, the art was fantastic. Um, Very brutal, like, gore and fights in this book for something that's considering this is like a 1970s comic book basically. And I like that this was like a self-contained story, so you don't really need to read any other Conan books, because, like, Conan's more of a side character, right? And like, the articles are short, so, like, it doesn't really get in the way of, like, the story, right? Which you can always skip that shit anyway. Yeah. My one complaint would have been nice if the artwork was in color, but otherwise, I love this book, 7 out of 10. So I'm definitely going to track down more of these Conan the Barbarian magazines, and maybe check out the Vampirella ones as well. Yeah, so that's it for this review, guys. Our next comic book review is going to be Grimwood's Daughter, which we were supposed to review both of these for Fantasy Month, but I was caught up with reading books, right? Because that's mostly what fantasy. It wouldn't be fantasy month if I didn't read at least, like, 2 or 3 books, which we end up reading 4. So yeah, that's it for this review, guys. for you JRPG fans, we have a poll right now for the next game review. The poll is, we have a freeway tie. So if you can go in and vote to break the tie, I would appreciate it. If not, I'll just randomly pick, you know, which game, like, uh, which game to play next on Monday, right? That's when we'll officially announce which game we're gonna do for our next game review. Right, so that's it for this video, guys.